You see this team, and they're talking about A.J. Brown still. It's an injury. We want him. Are we going to ship him? This situation has to play out in the sense of, I think he wants to be there, but at the end of the day, you can't disrupt the locker room every single week. And the Eagles need him to be there if they're going to make a Super Bowl run.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The playoff matchups for Asher Genty are not great. We start to look ahead. I know it's early, but it's not that early. So Genty, I think, is still a better long-term guy than is maybe a redraft situation, especially with the schedule maps out. But I don't see a lot of games where he's potentially in a situation where the Raiders are ahead and running the football a ton, if you know what I mean. It's kind of tough out there for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Are they chanting? Is it over? Does
They'll
it
be
accept
gone
the
by
resignation?
halftime. No,
Are they chanting fire, Brian,
probably.
Kelly?
Yeah,
clap, clap,
it would
clap,
be
clap,
it
clap.
would be warranted. It would be. I mean, you won a national championship in 2019. You're getting top 5, top 10 recruiting classes each and every year. You had the quarterback back to back to back to back. How many more chances are you going to get? I mean, really, what are we doing here?
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
One playoff win, and it's been a train wreck in every other year. But if we all agree that he was right in how he handicapped the quarterback talent coming out of that draft, and they got the right guy, and I think we all do agree on that, then what's the benefit of bringing a totally new voice into the room to now be the coach of Jackson Dart?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Hour number 2 is underway on a Tuesday in early November. Action on the football field tonight. We just finished up week number 9 of the NFL. As we head over to week number 10 and week 11 in college football, and also getting closer to the college football playoff, which teams will be in, which teams will be out. Seems like elimination Saturdays each and every single week. Some fun yesterday in the NBA, but also college basketball is back in our lives. Another big game tonight. The Duke Blue Devils taking on the Texas Longhorns from the great state of North Carolina. A lot of information, a lot of topics to get to, Joe. This is how we break it down, opening up your day on the SportsGrid Network to make sure you have all the information that you need to know.
And you're going to need to know a lot here because there is a lot going on here. College football, again, we got day 2 now of wall-to-wall college basketball action. Mix in, of course, the NFL. Now past the halfway point here, Donnie, and, you got a lot of who are the contenders, who are the pretenders, NHL, a lot happening right now across the board.
Absolutely a lot happening last night, and also happening today is the trade deadline, as Joe pointed out. That'll end a little bit later this afternoon, but the Bengals making a move here, trading Logan Wilson to the Cowboys. The only question also here is the simple fact is who else is going to get moved off of that Cincinnati team, and do we get any massive surprises today? We'll keep you posted here all day long right on the SportsGrid Network. It's just what we do. But for the early line, let's get to the hottest topics. The early lineup, which we saw last night, Joe, the Arizona Cardinals, the better football team, plain and simple. The underdogs came into Dallas and came away with a double-digit victory, 27-17. Jacoby Brissett, 21 of 31 for 261 and 2 touchdown passes and a passer rating of 115.1, slicing and dicing that Dallas defense here in the double-digit victory.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Arizona coming out of the bye. Jacoby Brissett has really energized this team, Donnie. And, whether they like it or they don't like it, they ended a 5-game losing streak. And now they've got a quarterback controversy. Yeah. And they're going to have to figure out, this franchise, what they're doing with Kyler Murray. Because if they bench him, well, they're not going to get what they think they can get in a trade if he ain't the starting quarterback. So they got some decisions to make moving forward here.
They do. 23 first downs last night. Also 7 of 13 in third down efficiency. 65 total plays, 340 yards. Good enough for that victory. I'm not saying the Arizona Cardinals can make the playoffs now because they're in the same boat as the Dallas Cowboys, but now also have that tiebreaker against them. They have the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Jags, the Bucks, the Rams, the Texans in the next couple games that they have before ending the season with the Bengals and the Rams both on the road. But if you take a look at Jonathan Gannon, maybe it just didn't go his way this year, and it's a tough schedule and some hard luck losses that they've had. But the team's actually playing really hard. Like, they lost a close game to the Niners, close win to the Seahawks. Should never have lost to the Titans, but DeMarcado dropped that football in the 1-yard line. They lose that game by 1 point. Close loss to the Colts, close loss to the Packers, now beating the Dallas Cowboys. Very competitive team here, Joe, on a week-to-week basis. Let's get to the next update here on Tucker Kraft, one of the better young tight ends in the NFL and a linchpin of that offense for the Green Bay Packers. He's down for the season with an ACL injury. Not a great look for that Packers offense that struggled mightily last week against the Panthers.
Yeah, just unfortunate all the way around. I mean, really, losing him. I mean, this guy was a absolute game changer for them, starting to come into his own. And now, now it's done. I mean, many people are considering him the best tight end in the NFL. I mean, the guy was pretty much uncoverable. And, now they're going to have to figure out a way. But they got some other issues right now with Green Bay that they got to figure out offensively here, and unfortunately it's going to be a little bit more difficult now with Tucker Kraft not in the fold.
How about Joe Alt here, one of the best young left tackles in football, just coming back after an injury. Is going to be the anchor of that offensive line, which is already down their right tackle. He's now down for the season. Also, Bobby Hart, which is playing decent football on that offensive line, he got banged up in Sunday's victory as well. They got the win 27-20 over the weekend, but my goodness, like, you have a Ferrari at quarterback and at wide receiver and a tight end, but if you don't get the time to throw to those guys, it doesn't matter. That offensive line is in shambles for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, they were 4-0 when he was in the lineup, Donnie, this season here. And there's a big reason why. When you can protect Justin Herbert, and you already lost Rashawn Slater, right, in the preseason, that was supposed to be the strength of this team. Great running backs, a ferocious offensive line that could protect Justin Herbert, and now it's piecemeal from here on out because they are still banged up here. But my goodness, he will be missed, and hopefully all will go well in that recovery too.
Absolutely here. Ja Morant, his recovery, it's not because he got injured, it's because his self-sabotaging on his organization. Here's a video of Ja Morant right now. Let's get up to date on this.
The coaching staff able to talk about what happened Friday and move on?
Y'all asked that question to them, huh?
What about for you?
Y'all asked that question, so y'all know the answer to that.
Do you feel like everything's been resolved?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
Well, yeah, but we didn't hear it from you.
Obviously, they can't go and tell y'all something I ain't say.
You feel like you get the same joy right now that we used to seeing from you?
No.
Why not?
What can be done to get it back?
We'll see.
Do you think you have a good relationship with the franchise in general?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
I didn't say anything about that.
If I had a good relationship, I wouldn't talk to him at all. So, and we had our combos over these.
Do you have any regrets about the way you played on Friday night in the second half?
You said what?
Do you have any regrets about the way you played in the game? I'm not talking about the.
That's your home run question? Sound like a bait question.
It's simple. You make this much money. You are the face of the franchise. You just got suspended, Joe. You know what? A normal, sane person goes, you know what? I'm going to fix the situation now. Well, I was immature the other night. Mouth off when I shouldn't have. I got to be better on the basketball court. I can't wait to get back after my teammates and continue the season. And nobody asks you stupid questions after stupid questions. Because why? When you ask stupid questions and get stupid answers, you ask more stupid questions on top of it to compound it at this point right now. Can't be the face of the franchise and act that way, Joe. Just can't do it.
So out of character for him, Donnie, because he's really, I mean, he's been such a good character guy, such a good locker room guy. Yeah. There's never been any problems with his father in the stands or threatening to kill people or shooting at people. I mean, all of this is very shocking to me, really. I mean, what do you expect, Memphis? You made your bed with him. Now sleep in it. It is what it is. How many more coaches are going to have to get fired before you realize it doesn't matter how talented he may be, that you are never winning a championship with this guy being the face of your franchise, period. He's not there and he ain't it.
Nope. Guaranteed
Sorry.
money, and that's the face of the franchise acts like that, answering questions. You just can't have that. The quicker they get him out of town, probably the better for that organization overall. Walt Weiss, new manager of Major League Baseball for the Atlanta Braves here. That's a pretty good franchise with a good tradition there, looking to get back to their winning ways. But Walt Weiss will be the skip next year.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff there. Bench coach, right? Now he's there. He knows the organization. I believe Snedeker now up in the front office there. So, yeah, the Braves will be just fine. They got some decisions to make this offseason, but kudos there. At least he's not, 22 and never played the game, Donnie, because that could be what's next in some places here as managers.
And by the way, Joe, you don't opt out of your contract in Major League Baseball or professional sports unless you know you have a raise coming here. And two guys we're going to talk about right now, Cody Bellinger and also Edwin Diaz. Agents don't say, hey, by the way, opt out. You're not going to get as much money as you currently have now, as you might as well stay in your contract. These two guys will get paid. And by the way, not a great free agent market in Major League Baseball, and these guys are trying to capitalize on that.
Yeah, well, if I'm the Mets, I'm signing Diaz as soon as I can because you're not going to get a better guy out of the bullpen there. But Bellinger, is he really moving the needle? Because he didn't for the Yankees this year. I mean, he had some moments. And if I'm Bellinger, I want to continue to be a lefty swinging the bat at Yankee Stadium. I don't want to go someplace else here at this point.
Yeah, we'll see where some of these fall down. The hot stove has officially begun in Major League Baseball, but Major League Baseball, Joe, the worst sport for free agency in every other sport. The minute free agency starts, you have a frenzy. Teams get excited. Players get excited. You sell a lot of merchandise for Christmas, but only in Major League Baseball you see free agents now that will be free agents throughout November, throughout December, throughout January, right up to February, and pitchers and catchers end this training camp and spring training at that time before they get signed. The worst process, it's Major League Baseball's free agency. Let's get it started next, people. College football action this weekend.
What have the Jays done all season long? And you've seen it, Kev, as a fan of the AL East. Yep. They get murdered or lose a heartbreaking game and come back and punch you in the face. Mm-hmm. They're not. It's what like the old Jays team used to fold, and that's what I used to hate about them. These guys are different. They're like guys you go to war with. It's like, man, you're my buddy. Like, let's go. Like, their clubhouse dynamic, I've never seen a Blue Jay team where everyone gets along.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Apparently, he's a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. The 49ers are decimated by injury. This guy's doing it again. Wade Phillips, Norv Turner, all these guys, there's a lot of great coordinators out there. I'm not so sure Mike McDaniel isn't a real good coordinator, a run game coordinator, a quarterback coach with the 49ers during some Super Bowl years. Maybe he's just not built to be a head coach.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I think a divorce is coming. I don't think LeBron finishes the year with the LA Lakers. And the trump card he tried to play has backfired on him big time. And I'm here for all the smoke. I got my marshmallows. I got my skewers. I got the fireplace. I'm going to sit back, kicking my feet, and watch the LA dysfunction play out in real time.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in a football state, you're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
month of November in college football. It really is elimination Saturdays, elimination Tuesdays, Wednesdays. We get college football every single day, but the anticipation of the college football playoff really starts to heat up, and there will be winners and there will be losers. Teams with 2 losses, basically elimination games each week. Teams with 1 loss here, looking to try to stave off that second loss and make it into the playoffs. But if you look at the championship picture right now, it's no surprise. The leader in the clubhouse right now in the odds market, it is the Ohio State Buckeyes at a plus 220 price. Fantastic on offense, even better on defense, and away they go. But you know who's in second right now in the odds market? It's the Indiana Hoosiers in the same Big Ten as Ohio State. Now understand this. We're probably going to get a trilogy here, or at least, 2 games out of it. They're going to meet up in that Big Ten championship game. The winner, the loser, they're going to both move on, just better seeding to the victor. And they might even meet twice by playing in the college football playoff. If we look at that odds market today, Joe, which has Alabama and A&M and Oregon and Notre Dame, is there any value across the board, or this is Ohio State's world and they're all just living in it?
No, well, I mean, listen, Ohio State deservedly, champions, number 1 team in the country, 8-0. They're not exactly the greatest strength of schedule here. It's not like they've played the who's who yet, but they will have some very intriguing games still coming up. And we know that Ryan Day has a problem beating Michigan, but they have set themselves up here. So is Indiana. I mean, listen, tonight we have the first, official rankings by the committee, right? So that'll happen tonight at 8:00. And I think, Donnie, the odds board reflects what we're probably going to see. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Alabama, Georgia. You can pretty much figure out Notre Dame will probably be 10 because they're a 2-loss team. But I think in the top 10, Notre Dame is the only 2-loss team right now that should be considered to get in. You got a lot of undefeated and 1-loss teams here, Donnie, in big conferences. They're with huge games coming up over the next couple of weeks. So a lot of this is going to change over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Exactly. And we never get the best teams in the college football playoff because nothing is relative. Everybody doesn't play the same schedule. You have an ACC schedule. You better be running the table out there like, oh, Miami 2. No, Miami's 2 losses in the ACC are compoundable to 4 losses in the SEC, which is the way it should be translated through. But we'll have those winners and losers by the time we get to the top 12, but at least it's 12. So if you're 13, 14, and 15 expected to get in, that's a you problem. That's not anybody else's problem. Like, oh, got to be in the top 2. No, you got to be in the top 12. Don't lose 3 games. How about that? And make it into the college football playoff. But having said that, too, the Heisman Trophy race. Julian Sain, the leader in the clubhouse, Joe, plus 175, followed by Fernando Mendoza. How about this? Number 1 team, number 2 team, same in the Heisman Trophy race for the players themselves.
Both kids deserve to have their names up there, Donnie, and to have those kinds of odds because they have been absolutely phenomenal. I think Reed is interesting with Texas A&M undefeated. They have to me, they have the 14th toughest strength of schedule here. So, I think when you look at some of those things with some of Indiana and Ohio State have played some of the worst teams in the country. So it's kind of hard to get a feel like, all right, so what are they going to be against? Let's say they played a top 10, top 15 strength of schedule. Are we having the same conversation? Are they the same odds? But there's no denying they have been absolutely lights out and a big reason why those teams are 1 and 2 in the country.
Lining up this weekend, 7:30 p.m. LSU with a new head coach, or at least we should say an interim head coach, going to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. The look-ahead number was around 6.5 to 7 points. No longer that, Joe. 9.5s and 10s across the landscape as a favorite towards the Alabama Crimson Tide. And a total, let's say, at 49.5. Does Bama roll in this game, or do you get a bump because Brian Kelly's out? Maybe the players just didn't like him and say, we'll show you, Brian Kelly, and go knock off top 5 Bama in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I mean, the reports are I didn't even have any idea what the players' names were. So this will be interesting here. Yeah, you would think with the the good old coaching bump here, that fired coaching system, that you would maybe get a little bit more LSU money. But this offense is just putrid, Donnie. They are not what they were. They have injuries to a couple of All-American linebackers on defense that has really hurt them. I think Alabama rolls in this spot. I don't think this is a spot where LSU rids themselves of Brian Kelly and all of a sudden fixes their woes here. I don't believe that's the case. I think Alabama wins this one.
By the way, there's no great way to leave like a university, but the way Brian Kelly left Cincinnati was awful. Even worse, the way he left Notre Dame. And now he's at LSU and just feel like he's just a creep and nobody bought in and everything was fake around him. It's amazing how you can fake it till you make it. Put Cincinnati back on the map, let's just say, go to Notre Dame, put them back in the national spotlight, go on the LSU, and basically sound like I was hamstrung in Cincinnati and also Notre Dame. Now I have all the money in the world at LSU to dominate, and you don't dominate and you get fired after a few quick years here. That's the Brian Kelly experiment. We'll see if LSU has any fight left in the tank, taking on Alabama this weekend. Texas A&M and Missouri, another SEC battle here. A&M, 7.5-7 as a favorite, depending where you're shopping at, on the road, taking on a top 20 Missouri team here. The total, Joe, 52.5 at the opening number. We're down to 47.5. A&M and Missouri. Can A&M keep the good times rolling?
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Some injury concerns with Missouri coming out of that game against Vandy, namely their quarterback who left there. This is going to be a big spot here for both of these teams. Yeah, it feels like Texas A&M is on a path here that they're going to have an opportunity to be one of the top 5 teams in the country. They are humming on all sides, both defensively and offensively, kind of like the spot that they're in right now.
How about BYU and Texas Tech? Battle of the Big 12 here. The interesting part about this is BYU. Is Banster going to play for the BYU team? We'll see if that find out here. 10-point spread. Baron Morton and the Raiders. 9-1 versus 8-0. Top 10 battle. Feels like an elimination game at some point here, Joe.
Yeah, and Donnie, these are the two of the better defenses in the country right now. That BYU defense is lights out, and so is Texas Tech's here. This is going to be for all the marbles with these two teams here. BYU sitting undefeated. Now they're going to have to go on the road here. I think Tech has got them in this one, but I'm not sure we're going to get 53 points in that game either with these two defenses.
Week 11 in college football. And again, I always like to say, usually we're winding down the college football season in November. Then you got to wait a month till bowl games. That ain't the case anymore, man. You go right through November, right through December, right through January. You got 3 full months of college football here to decide a national championship. I love this, man. We'll watch it this weekend as it plays out here. Big games on a week-to-week basis, and we keep you informed right here on the early line. It's just what we do. It's time to invade the Kalshi markets. What wacky price points can we hit on next?
What have the Jays done all season long? And you've seen it, Kev, as a fan of the AL East. They get murdered or lose a heartbreaking game and come back and punch you in the face. They're not. It's what like the old Jays team used to fold, and that's what I used to hate about them. These guys are different. They're like guys you go to war with. It's like, man, you're my buddy. Like, let's go. Like, their clubhouse dynamic, I've never seen a Blue Jay team where everyone gets along.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Apparently, he's a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. The 49ers are decimated by injury. This guy's doing it again. Wade Phillips, Norv Turner, all these guys, there's a lot of great coordinators out there. I'm not so sure Mike McDaniel isn't a real good coordinator, a run game coordinator, a quarterback coach with the 49ers during some Super Bowl years. Maybe he's just not built to be a head coach.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I think a divorce is coming. I don't think LeBron finishes the year with the LA Lakers. And the trump card he tried to play has backfired on him big time. And I'm here for all the smoke. I got my marshmallows. I got my skewers. I got the fireplace. I'm going to sit back, kick at my feet, and watch the LA dysfunction play out in real time.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in a football state, you're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's fire up those Kalshi markets here and have some fun and take a look at some interesting questions here in a different way that you can certainly approach your betting as opposed to FanDuel, DraftKings, or BetMGM. More of a stock market approach here, Joe, at Kalshi. First question we'll bring up with college basketball back in our lives as of last night, and we'll continue all the way through the early parts of April in the Final Four and the national championship game. Men's college basketball champion, Purdue, Houston, and UConn are listed. Purdue is the favorite. And if you do vote yes, or should I say bet $100 on yes, that returns back, Joe, $1,112. Profit can be made if you can determine the champion in college basketball.
Yeah, no thanks. No. Purdue and Houston, although they certainly should be in the conversation here, but to try to pick that now, my goodness here. But again, Donnie, it's a market in which you don't have to wait till the outcome. You're not locked into it. So there will be a time, I think, Donnie, in which halfway through the season, by the time we get to January, where Purdue and Houston are running the table in their conferences, that number is going to be much better. And if you buy in now to the yes, that, the percentage is only going to go up where you can actually make some money before anything happens, before the outcome happens. So I don't mind that.
Yeah, that's the fun part about that, because it's not like, okay, I think they're going to win. It's locked away. I can't touch it till April unless I go to another place and hedge. Like if you pick Purdue and Purdue goes on a run, they open up the season 18-0, you're looking at a really good profit that you can decide to ride that out or push the button and cash out and get reinvigorated in another market to try to do that. You're almost looking for that team that's like 50 or 60 to 1 that turns out to be 30 to 1 in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And there, you made your money at that point and see what you can do it. If we flip it over to the NHL, the Shield, NHL playoff qualifiers. 3 teams listed here: the Wild, the Senators, and the New York Rangers. Yes to make the playoffs, no to not make the playoffs here. If you bet the Rangers right now and throw $100 down, they're going to make the playoffs, you return back $197 on that payoff.
I don't even know any Ranger fans that would expect them to make the playoffs this year. I mean, I'm just saying, the Rangers, a little tough sledding here, Donnie, that is for sure. But I would have to say it's a 50-50 coin flip right now. I mean, they're sitting at 6-5. They're not very good at home at Madison Square Garden, which is kind of crazy. But I do think they will eventually put it together and make a run. So I'd be willing to bet the yes here with the Rangers eventually righting the ship and getting it going here.
Let's go Rangers. If we take a look at the Western Conference here and the finals winner, which means not winning the Stanley Cup, just winning the Western Conference. If I slide it all the way down, like you see the guys at the top of the heap, right? Avalanche and the Knights. You go down to the Calgary Flames and punch in $100 on them, Joe, to win that conference. $10,000 is your payoff. Now, good luck to those who have the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work there. But, listen, it's early. I think the team where if you want to take a flyer, Donnie, is the Anaheim Ducks, who are unbelievable so far this season here. Nobody paying attention to them there with Coach Q on the bench, 7-3 to start the season here, Donnie. And yes, while Colorado and Vegas, and, we know the usuals here. But, Anaheim might be a good little nugget there for a future bet that you can cash out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, just skipping around on Kalshi right now. Thursday night action, Joe, in the NFL, Las Vegas at Denver. If you bet the Denver Broncos to win this football game and place $100 down, you will get $24 back. Now, you might say to yourself, like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. But honestly, like in what trade or investment, Joe, if you really like on a Tuesday morning, you can get 24% back on a return by the end of Thursday night. Like, it sounds stupid. Like, I would never bet that much on the juice at that point right now. But you got to look at the investment you can make. Now, if you think that Vegas pulls the upset, Joe, a $100 wager gets you back $500 on the backside. But if I told you now you can make 24% of your money, that's Bernie Madoff stuff right there, Joe.
That is pretty impressive stuff here. Yeah. But what I'm trying to think, Donnie, right now on the... Yeah, Denver is about a $3 or $4 to $1 underdog in the marketplace. So if you can get 5 to 1, then you're in pretty good shape there with the Kalshi market.
Yeah, we got to hit this Kalshi market with some good stuff here. Let me just type in a little. We got any more Taylor Swift props in here? Let's go live. Taylor, okay, here we go, Joe. How about this one? Total Spotify streams for Taylor Swift's Opalite by Friday. 99, more than 255 million, Joe. If you bet $100, you get $3 back. That's a 3% return on your investment, Joe. Say it. Do you like it? Do you like it?
I'm in.
Maybe he's in. Look, we're in. We're all in right here. We'll be right back.
There's a far longer track record of the Chiefs laying huge numbers and not covering them with Mahomes than anything on the contrary.
And they did that a lot last year where they didn't cover those numbers, but a lot of the time last year they didn't have Rice and they weren't fully healthy, and now they are fully healthy. And now we have an offense that has 4 viable receivers, 2 tight ends, and 2 running backs.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
They didn't panic. They played like a championship team. They came back and destroyed them, probably cost Brian Kelly his job at least a week earlier than it might have happened before. But the fact is they are playing great. But like I say, I like the talent level of all those teams. And I think you want to have a little bang for your buck and play around with a team that could slide in. Ole Miss might be that team.
The Bowden Blitz. Only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in a football state. You're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Week 10 in the NFL, it's time to turn the page, Joe. We just saw last night the Dallas Cowboys. Ooh, they were bad last night against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have life for the rest of their season. Maybe their coach can make it for the 2026 season if they play well down the stretch, and maybe still miss the playoffs. They are playing in a really good division there. The Dallas Cowboys, I'm not saying the division's up for grabs because the Eagles are the best team, but now you take a look at the Commanders, the Giants, and the Cowboys. They basically all feel out of it, and that's what happens. But new week, new money, as we like to say, Joe, and it starts on Thursday night. Las Vegas taking on Denver in the Mile High City. Double-digit favorite, call it here, for the Denver Broncos, around 9.5, depending on where you're shopping, and a total of 41.5. Vegas's offense woke up last week. Why? You get back Brock Bowers, and he's just as good, if not better, than when you saw him earlier in the season. 3 touchdown catches here. Can they make a difference, or does Denver's defense say, you know what? Hey, Gino, you ain't running away from this pass rush. We're getting after you here. Good luck.
Things have gone from bad for worse for the Raiders, right? I mean, it's just not good. Pete Carroll, 74, 75, however old he is, got to be going like, what in the hell am I coming back here for? Like, what am I doing? But it feels like Denver on a short week, Donnie, and the market seems to agree because early money coming in on the Raiders that maybe this is just too big a number here. I mean, it's not like Denver has been convincing in a lot of their wins. They've gotten away. They lost a couple of games they probably shouldn't have lost, but they've also won a few games in which they had a lot of the things go their way here. So, I mean, they've rattled off 6 wins in a row. A desperate Raiders team. They know one another. They usually play one another in close games. It feels like I would only be looking at taking the points here, more than a touchdown than anything else.
Let's step up to the mic on this next one, Joe. 1 o'clock start on Sunday. New England and Tampa Bay. Drake May and Baker Mayfield here. Line opened up around a -1.5 as that look ahead. It's actually improving towards Tampa's side to -2.5. Well, I love Baker Mayfield. I love the way they play defense. Still put pressure, but New England has been really good, Joe. One of the hottest teams in the NFL, just winning football games. Sooner than later in the NFL, you do run up against a team where, you know what, you're not going to win every week. And one of the biggest advantages that you can have is coming off a bye. 2 weeks to prepare for one football team while the other team is playing football. Now, looking at that, do you feel that the right side is favored in this game and Tampa should be a favorite? Or do you think Tampa maybe should be favored by more at this point?
Well, and I think that's going to be the key, Donnie. Does this thing get to the key number of 3? I don't ever think it'll get to 3.5. And if it does, it will not stay there long. But I think will this number go to 3 or not? I think a lot of that has to do with whether or not Tampa, how healthy are they getting, right? Who's coming back for the Tampa Bay Bucks here for this week after, a week off here? I wasn't all that impressed with that win by the Falcons. Yes, they got the win, kudos, but there are still a lot of deficiencies with this New England team. Now they got to go on the road. It's going to be another hot one here in Florida. So, yeah, it's, to me, the home field advantage alone for the Tampa Bay Bucks is good enough to want to back them under a field goal.
How about this next game? Intriguing to say the least, man. The Baltimore Ravens looking to get their season back on track here with a victory last Thursday night against the Miami Dolphins. Look to continue that in Minnesota. And Minnesota might have been that team you're looking at like, you know what? They're not going to be able to win that division. They might be dead in the water. J.J. McCarthy's coming back. We don't know what to anticipate. What a performance by the Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy's. They beat up on the Detroit Lions. Now they come back home to take on the Ravens. And also, underdog in this game, it's not the Ravens. They're favored 4.5 at most outlets and a total of 47.5. McCarthy really showed some signs of life. This is an intriguing one to handicap because the one thing I did like was Lamar Jackson had success throwing the football on Thursday night, but didn't look like he was all there rushing. I wonder if another week gets him healthier here and he's able to use his legs a bit more. That's a fun game to look at, Joe.
It is. And look at it. I mean, they were a big underdog against the Lions on the road, right? And they won that game outright. So if we take that line against the Lions and use that as a reference, and then we flip it for home field. So you're telling me the Lions and the Ravens are on the same page? They're rated the same? I don't know that is the truth. I think the value is on Minnesota here. I think the Ravens, everyone's going to be like, oh, Lamar's back. The Ravens are fixed. I am not sure that is the case. And by the way, Minnesota was missing a lot of guys on defense. Van Ginkel and company all came back against Detroit, and you could see the difference there with Flores and the game that he called on the defensive side. I think a lot of value here on the Vikings if you can get it over the key number of 3.5.
Yeah, Flores, like that same school as Todd Bowles. Like, you're not going to be able to get comfortable in the pocket. We are bringing heat repeatedly. And against a really good offense in Detroit, they broke down that offensive line all throughout that game. We're able to come away with pressure. We'll see if they can do the same against Lamar Jackson. Now, again, it's a risk reward. If you get a healthy Lamar where he can run, you bring a blitz, it's lights out all day long. Lamar's going to run for 100-plus yards, and they'll move the football. But if he's slow in the pocket like he was last week against the Dolphins, maybe that keeps it up. Something to find out later, but a really good game to look at. How about a 4:25 start on the West Coast? San Francisco's the home team here. Big-time game between the Rams taking on the 49ers. The road team, the Rams, they are favored by 3.5 points against the 49ers and a total of 49.5. We still don't know who the quarterback is going to be, but Mac Jones has filled in very well for Brock Purdy. We don't know who the wide receivers will be, who's on the defensive line. Every week somebody gets injured for the 49ers, but it seems like they're still hanging in there.
Well, they are, and it feels like, boy, the Rams are being priced at the top of the market right now, aren't they? I mean, a road favorite over a key number, laying 3.5 against what have the 49ers done besides weather the storm, overcome huge injuries to key guys here? It was -3 looking ahead, Donnie, before the weekend. Now it's 3.5, and I think it's probably going to go a little bit higher here, but it's hard for me. It's buy low, sell high. It feels like it's time to sell high on the Rams in a spot like this as a road favorite.
Here's a good one, too. Sunday Night Football. Like it used to be the past couple of weeks, the marquee matchups just weren't there. It feels like we're getting some better versions here. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a huge victory, not salvaging their season. They were over 500, but say, hey, you know what, Baltimore? You're not going to overtake us in 2 weeks here. We're going to have to make you earn it. They beat the Colts. Now they go on the road to take on the Chargers, who did pick up a victory. And in that game, by the way, threw a pick six and also gave up a special teams touchdown. But the defense was very good. But that's not the focal point. The mojo is back for the Pittsburgh defense, particularly getting pressure on the quarterback. And the Chargers, they are so beat up on the offensive line. The Chargers are a 3-point favorite in a total, 45.5. That Pittsburgh defense, a little bit maligned on the back end, but if they can get pressure, that eliminates a lot of stress here, Joe. Can they do it against the Chargers?
Well, Pittsburgh as a dog, right? We know that's where Tomlin thrives. The look ahead in this line, Donnie, was 3.5 here for the Chargers. The total was also 46.5, and we've seen the total be bet down, and we've seen this thing now being at 3 pretty much across the board for the Steelers. So the Steelers, as the markets are viewing them, maybe have righted the ship here a little bit. I think there's a lot of skepticism about the Chargers and all of the injuries now, and being a home favorite here again. It's a long trip, for Pittsburgh, but this has always been a spot at getting points that you want to back Tomlin and Pittsburgh, and I think this number might get to 2.5 before kick.
Yeah, take a look at the schedule coming up there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, too. Again, a big victory to stop a 2-game losing streak there against the Colts. You take the Chargers on this week, chance to win that game, of course. Then you have the Bengals and the Bears up next before the Bills, Ravens. Then you get a breather against the Dolphins. It's not a bad stretch, but also understand this. What we were always pointing to in those marketplaces, like who can win that division, 2 games still left between the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Ravens are just trying to stay in earshot of the Steelers, because if you can beat them twice, it's like winning 3 games, because you get the 2-game advantage on them, and then you get the tiebreaker on top of that. Should be a really fun close to the season. But this week, Joe, you take a look at some of these games that we've gone over already early in the week. It looks like it's going to be fun. And also, that Monday Night Football game, Philadelphia and Green Bay, and away you go. Good-looking week this week for the people out there to lay down. I like it.
What, you're not interested in the Browns at the Jets? My goodness. Come on. What a game that... Oh, sorry. I can't even
get the words out at that point. By the way, Jets are on Thursday night next week in prime time, Joe. More fun for Jets fans. We'll be right back.
What have the Jays done all season long? And you've seen it, Kev, as a fan of the AL East. They get murdered or lose a heartbreaking game and come back and punch you in the face. They're not. It's what, like the old Jays team used to fold, and that's what I used to hate about them. These guys are different. They're like guys you go to war with. It's like, man, you're my buddy. Like, let's go. Like, their clubhouse dynamic, I've never seen a Blue Jay team where everyone gets along.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Apparently, he's a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. The 49ers are decimated by injury. This guy's doing it again. Wade Phillips, Norv Turner, all these guys, there's a lot of great coordinators out there. I'm not so sure Mike McDaniel isn't a real good coordinator, a run game coordinator, a quarterback coach with the 49ers during some Super Bowl years. Maybe he's just not built to be a head coach.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I think a divorce is coming. I don't think LeBron finishes the year with the LA Lakers. And the trump card he tried to play has backfired on him big time. And I'm here for all the smoke. I got my marshmallows. I got my skewers. I got the fireplace. I'm going to sit back, kicking my feet, and watch the LA dysfunction play out in real time.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state, you're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor, because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's a Tuesday morning right here on the Sports Grid Network. It is the early line, going over information like, oh, yeah, the NBA's playing tonight. Oh, look, college basketball's back. Turning the page on Week 9 of the NFL into Week 10 of the NFL, which is going to start Thursday night. Some marquee matchup you need to know about. Oh, yeah, there's that thing called college football, which also plays this week. A great time to be here on the Sports Grid Network. Donnie Rightside, Joe Ranieri. Now we welcome in Adam Kaufman here to talk a little NBA action and other hot topics. The hot topics just keep on flowing, Adam. How are we feeling today?
Yeah, well, like you said, fascinating day in general because obviously day 2 college basketball, day 1 was a ton of fun, at least for my card personally. I hope people had a great time in general. You close out Week 9 of the NFL with a dud of a game. That game sucked, and I was wrong about it too. I thought the Cowboys were going to be the team that won out, but Jacoby Brissett continues to be the best backup in the NFL. And of course, trade deadline day across the league. And so will we get anything impactful? Cowboys started off with a nice move, but there are a lot of teams that need to add to get themselves firmly in that contender conversation.
Yeah, it's good stuff all the way around. I'm waiting for one of these big shoes to drop here in the NFL, which, you know, when I like to say, like me back in the day, Adam, like the trade deadline, the NFL is like, what's that? We haven't had a trade in 15 years. So at least teams are actually trading again and sort of adding some intrigue because it's a lot of fun to talk about. And teams can make themselves better. But I want to catch your point here in the NBA. Like, usually sometimes you win an NBA championship, and OKC did that last year. Hey, maybe a little bit of lull. We took the offseason off and, you know, a little bit slow start to the season, but we'll get it back when the hunger really matters. And also, regular season doesn't matter. We won a championship. We just want to get to the playoffs. Well, you look at the standings right now. Oklahoma City, 7-0, best record in the NBA to start. And tonight, taking on the Clippers as roughly 7.5-point favorites live right now. The Thunder said, we like the ring. That's nice. But now we're hungry for ring 2, and we're 7-0 to start.
Like you said, perfect start to the season. There's no regression whatsoever for this team at the moment, and doing so notably without their second best player. We haven't seen Jalen Williams play yet this year. So it really is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning MVP, and this supporting cast that's getting the job done. This line right now, like you said, there's 7.5s out there. There are also 7s and 6.5s, you know, at least one rogue 6.5 that I'm looking at right now, and that's where I would go with OKC. Obviously, if you want to go to the other side with the Clippers, take that 7.5, but I think the Thunder are going to cover this, get the job done on the road. You know, they haven't played since Sunday, guys, in a blowout win over the winless Pelicans right now. Just destroyed Zion and company. And so this group, you know, it was a pretty easy path to victory where you didn't have to have anybody play more than 30 minutes in that game. Most played between 20 and 25, so they're not taxed. Again, haven't played in a couple of days. They go out to LA, so they're just sitting there waiting for this game at this point in time. And the Clippers, meanwhile, they played last night. You know, a high-scoring, hard-fought game with Miami. It was a one-point game, ultimately, that the Heat came away, the visitors, with the victory. And everyone had to go, obviously, in this one coming down to the wire. And so most important players out there for LA played upwards of 35 to 40 minutes, whether that's James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, these guys. And so there are some questions going into the game. We haven't seen an injury report, for instance, on the Clippers because they did play last night. It might be a good time to get in on the Thunder in the event that anybody of note does sit in this game. For OKC, AJ Mitchell, Lou Dort, a couple of key players for that team in terms of depth and pop off the bench in Mitchell's case are questionable going into this one. Still, I think they're going to go at least one of the two and probably both. And so I think we're going to see line movement during the day. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing gets up to, 8.5. I would invest at OKC minus 6.5 right now.
Are you worried here, Adam, though, given the fact that they are public darlings, they are always overvalued, and anytime they play a team with a pulse, and I would consider the Clippers with as much veteran leadership and ability that they have at home, really? They're going to, because they haven't. They didn't cover against Indiana. They didn't cover against Houston. They didn't cover against Dallas, Sacramento. I mean, there's no value in laying it with Oklahoma City. So if everyone's playing for the Clippers, are we worried that, once again, we got a double overtime situation? Here we go with OKC?
It's a valid point, and like you said, the Thunder, while perfect straight up, not as great against the spread. That said, I just think it's a good schedule spot. You know, the Clippers play a tight game last night. Excuse me, comes down to the wire. Everybody has to play big minutes. You got the rest factor on the Thunder coming in, all the stuff that I already outlined. But then on top of that, I just think it's a better team, obviously, but it's also a younger team. You got some old legs on that Clippers team that may have trouble kind of keeping up toward the end. You know, I think I'll put it this way. I think it's more likely to be a close game, and then the Thunder pull away in the fourth quarter than it is a game that OKC's kind of running away with and they take their foot off the gas and you get that backdoor cover situation from the Clippers. I just think that ultimately we're going to see the Clippers sort of run out of steam here in this one.
How about running out of steam here? Not those Philadelphia 76ers. Take a look at a game against the Chicago Bulls, two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Who would have thought about that early in the season? The Sixers come in this ball game, Adam. However, a slight underdog here, and that total close to 240. The hops there from Maxey and Edgecombe get it going. Embiid due back in the lineup tonight. What do you see between the Bulls and the Sixers tonight?
Yeah, I think the fact that you can get Philadelphia as a, roughly minus 105 on the money line, because obviously the spread, like you said, point or so dogs, 2-point dogs as we look at the graphic there. I would just rather take the money line at this point. Now, Chicago is a good team. Like you said, these teams are both off to, 5-1 starts right now, top of the Eastern Conference. But Embiid, despite this minutes limit, he's getting more comfortable, right? 3 straight games of 20-plus points. He's playing increased minutes each time, 25 the last time out. The shot volume is absolutely increasing. You've seen people bet up his points prop. It was, I think, 16.5 at open. Now it's 19.5. So it's climbed. But again, the volume is there for Embiid. You couple that with, as you said, Maxey, Edgecombe, and it's also looking like, at least based on the probable designation, that we're going to see Jared McCain for the first time this season, who suffered that UCL, the thumb injury, back in the preseason, and so therefore hasn't played yet, and because of his injury last year, hasn't played since last December. But this kid was going to be Rookie of the Year if he had simply stayed healthy last year. Then he goes down and everything turns on its head, obviously. But I think he's solid, good depth for this team. You don't need Paul George right now. You got enough youth around Embiid. I would take the road team again on the money line.
That's Adam Kaufman bringing the heat here, and I know he's looking forward to the Patriots and the Buccaneers this weekend. Adam's all over the channel. Make sure you check him out. Thanks for joining us this morning, Adam. We'll talk soon. We'll be right back.
What have the Jays done all season long? And you've seen it, Kev, as a fan of the AL East. They get murdered or lose a heartbreaking game and come back and punch you in the face. They're not. It's like the old Jays team used to fold, and that's what I used to hate about them. These guys are different. They're like guys you go to war with. It's like, man, you're my buddy. Like, let's go. Like, their clubhouse dynamic, I've never seen a Blue Jay team where everyone gets along.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Apparently, he's a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. The 49ers are decimated by injury. This guy's doing it again. Wade Phillips, Norv Turner, all these guys, there's a lot of great coordinators out there. I'm not so sure Mike McDaniel isn't a real good coordinator, a run game coordinator, a quarterback coach with the 49ers during some Super Bowl years. Maybe he's just not built to be a head coach.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I think a divorce is coming. I don't think LeBron finishes the year with the LA Lakers. And the trump card he tried to play has backfired on him big time. And I'm here for all the smoke. I got my marshmallows. I got my skewers. I got the fireplace. I'm going to sit back, kicking my feet, and watch the LA dysfunction play out in real time.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Governor calls you out in the football state, you're out.
And it was so funny, too, because after he fired Kelly on Sunday, right, Woodward released a statement that said that, in effect, that he was still in charge of the athletic department. Well, you didn't check with the governor because apparently he had other plans for the athletic department, and you're not in them.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, the action never stops on the Sports Grid Network. Does it? It certainly does. And it's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Ranieri. Armchair Quarterback Monday. Boy, we're exhausted from a big weekend. Nonsense. You come to this station, you watch these channels, you watch these shows to get your information that you need to get ready. Now, granted, we give you a lot of the opinions on our side, but now's the time we like to reach out to the public. What's your opinion? Here's our Fade the Public poll. Fade the public, Joe. It's easy. If you're not following Sports Grid on X, what are you doing? Head over, give us a follow, get these questions each and every morning so you can answer and we can feel good about it and say, ooh, I wonder what the public loves. The public absolutely hated the under yesterday. How about that? Game stayed under. Let's see what they're doing today. And the question at hand is, who do you think will win the men's college basketball championship? 4 options were given. Purdue, Houston, Duke, and Kentucky. The leader in the clubhouse right now, how about those Houston Cougars at close to 48%, Joe, at a plus 950 price? Woo!
Coach Sampson, man, he's got some returners. He always recruits well. The style of basketball that they play there usually is very good down the stretch there for an opportunity to win a national championship. Came up a little short against Florida. But yeah, they will be in the picture, and so will Duke. You'll get to see Boozer tonight here, their prized recruit against Texas. I wouldn't necessarily bet against them with all their returning players as well.
Yeah, it'll be, again, we're just starting the season. I call it the silly season. Like in the past, we've seen games on aircraft carriers. You're going to get the banquet season where it's like, hey, where are they? Oh, they're somewhere in Cancun in a banquet hall at like the Ryu All-Inclusive they're going to play in. Where is this game today? Oh, it's in the Bahamas. How about this game? Oh, it's out on Maui at Diamond Head. The kids are, surfing during the day and playing basketball at night. Like this is a season that you do need to pay attention to, but also understand this. Big wins are going to add up. Those quad 1 victories, they're still going to be there. They mean just as much in the month of November that they do in the month of February and also March. So something to have fun at this point. For me, Joe, I actually voted for Duke, 26.2. Duke hasn't even played a game yet, so we'll find out a lot more tonight on where some of these go. But if you do pick the right price points early in the season, then you can make some cash at that point. And talking about making some cash, Joe made it last night. Thank you, CeeDee Lamb, for not making me any cash last night. But here's our buy picks for tonight. Full slate tonight, Joe. NHL, you got college basketball, you got college football, you got everything at your disposal. Where are you going to for a good play tonight for the people?
Well, where else, Donnie? I mean, it's Tuesday and it's match in action. Like, what are we doing here? Let's go to the battle here of Ohio as Ohio U taking on Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks taking on the Bobcats here, and it's rinse and repeat. With good old Chuck Martin and Miami of Ohio. Now, they do have a little revenge on their mind in this game, Donnie. They got absolutely destroyed by Ohio in the MAC title game last year, 38-3. But this year, once again, Chuck Martin, they are playing their best football when this time of year rolls around. 51-20 in conference play since 2016, this team is with Chuck Martin. 18-2 run since the start of 2023, and they're already 6-2 against the number this season and 4-0 in conference games against the number. And I'm getting points in this one here, Donnie, against Ohio, whose defense is not very good. Daquan Finn playing some of his best football at quarterback for Miami of Ohio. I'll take them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They have been a solid bet this time of year for decades now. I got no problem taking the points on the road in a revenge spot for Miami of Ohio.
Action here. You miss those days where it's like, okay, you pop on your TV at 6:30, got a doubleheader or a tripleheader. It's already snow in the forecast, 15 people in the crowd, and craziness where it doesn't matter in action. It's zeros on the clock at that point. For me, Joe, I'm going to the NBA. I'm going to start with the first game of the night, 7:30 tip. I like the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the best players in the NBA, and I'm not in love with the Toronto Raptors. But sometimes you take a look at a close game last night, a back-to-back here for the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm getting a 4.5 as a favorite towards the Toronto Raptors. But also understand this, 7 of every 10 tickets here currently coming in on the Bucks. And as Joe pointed out early in the show, you might get that late surprise like Giannis isn't playing tonight on a back-to-back, and you get that extra bonus. I'll take the Raptors tonight, minus 4.5 as a nice fade of the public to see if they can pull off the victory and the cover tonight.
Yeah, sooner rather than later, Donnie, because once, second of a back-to-back, those injuries start to pile up, and the guys not playing, that line might very well move. They are more rested, Toronto, as well.
Rested and ready. We'll be that early tomorrow morning for Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside. For the rest of the Sports Grid crew, we'll see you tomorrow for the early line.